What moment in One Piece hooked you in and made you a fan? Today, I wanted to talk about a moment for me that grabbed me as a fan and transformed me into a super fan for this series. Of course, there's multiple moments in the series where it took it to the next level and the hype increased more and more, but today, I want to talk about the very first moment that made me get chills and open my eyes. A moment where I'm sure a ton of you can agree and say how great of a moment this was and how much you appreciated the Straw Hats and realized how badass they can be. You realize these guys are not to be messed with and not to mess with any member of that crew or else you'll be feeling what Arlong felt. That's right, I'm talking about Walk to Arlong Park. Words can't explain the emotion and excitement I was feeling the first time I witnessed this scene. Don't get me wrong though, before this scene, I had tons of other great moments that made me a fan of One Piece. But Walk to Arlong Park took it by a mile with how damn epic it was. An epic part of the series where Nami finally breaks down and can't take Arlong and his crew anymore for what they have done and what they're doing on her island now. After coming so close to freeing her island from Arlong's enslavement and making things right from what once seemed like a hopeless situation, only to be cheated by Arlong and figuring out Arlong never intended to honor his part of the deal and enslaving the people she loves forever. It's not till here where we really see the despair in a character at their lowest, rock bottom. And before any of y'all jump to conclusions, I'm just talking about characters for One Piece. We spend the whole arc waiting to see our main characters do something about this situation and help this poor character after seeing her traumatizing backstory. P.S. It's probably the first flashback in the series that truly made me tear the hell up. It really teaches you a good lesson of being grateful and showing you don't need to be related by blood to be family and truly care about somebody. And that's what Bellemere did for her and Nojiko. Bellemere wasn't their biological mother, but was still their mother nonetheless. There was no difference in the love that she showed them. Now we wait for our main character Luffy, who is the captain of the Straw Hats, to make the orders to do something to this diabolical villain named Arlong. But Luffy won't do anything simply because Nami hasn't asked for help. Up until this point, Nami is insanely prideful and she wouldn't ask anybody for help, especially Luffy and the gang after realizing that they're pirates. But it doesn't take Nami too long to realize that these are different kind of pirates she's dealing with here. These are pirates who have a good heart and wouldn't want to see her hurt. A group of people who actually care for her for who she is now. So as I said, she doesn't ask for any help until she hears the news about Arlong cheating her. And I know it sounds bad for Luffy right now, but give me a moment before I explain why he doesn't do anything for the people who's never watched One Piece before. Now feeling hopeless, Nami takes all that frustration, anger, and despair and begins stabbing herself repeatedly on her arm. The same arm where she's reminded of Arlong and his crew because it's a tattoo of the Arlong pirates there. I was in utter disbelief when I first saw this scene. I was like, shit, she's really in pain right now to the point that she doesn't care of the physical harm that she's causing herself. She doesn't care to stop until Luffy steps in and prevents her from harming herself anymore. And it's at this moment where she's at her lowest that she finally asks Luffy for help. She cries, "Help me." And my god, I could not have been any happier. I burst with joy. I was sad for Nami, but I burst with joy because she finally had the courage to ask Luffy for help. And the part that impresses me the most is before all this, the other crew members heard everything about Nami's backstory. What she went through, the trauma, the heartbreak. And Luffy, he didn't want to hear any of it. It didn't matter to him. Not because he's an asshole or anything like that. Luffy doesn't care about a person's past and what defines them in their past. All that matters is who you are now, and he saw the good in Nami. He saw that Nami wasn't a bad person. The only thing that matters is Nami is considered a friend and she's in trouble. All she has to do is ask him for help and he'll always be there for her, no matter what. He respected her decision not to interfere with all this business with Arlong. He waited until he got the go to finally kick ass. At this point, every fan in the series probably stood up from whatever seat they were sitting on because all you hear next is "let's go." He tells the whole crew, it's time to get moving. We got some work to do. It really feels special too because it's one of the first times that I recall Luffy actually acting like a captain for his crew. He makes the orders on the spot and nobody questions him. Even Usopp, who was having a ton of trouble fighting people, the coward of the group, had no problem pushing forward to help his captain. and to help out Nami, who he considered as a friend. And then we get one of the best pull-up scenes in anime. You hear the song, it's perfect. Overtaking his plane, you hear dan 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 dan. The crew is walking towards Arlong and all of his crew members in a calm and collective manner until they finally approach the gates. Luffy punches the door down, and you already know these guys are beasts. The whole arc, all you see is the fishmen, the other species, undermine humans, thinking that they're the better species. Meanwhile, you know what these guys are capable of. You're ready to see Luffy beat the shit out of this shitty person. Finally, he says the lines, "Which one of you is Arlong?" I just wish I could relive that scene for the first time. The satisfaction to see Luffy walk up slowly to Arlong afterwards and punch him, and Arlong be completely devastated by this human punch is amazing. That's gotta be one of the top 10 Luffy punches in the series. It's even better watching this whole arc with Arlong once you know the backstory for Arlong and why he hates humans so much. Not saying he's justified at all, still an evil person, but it just makes it that much better once you do know. But without a doubt, once I saw Walk to Arlong Park, it hooked me. I became obsessed with One Piece. It was definitely in my top 5 at that moment. Granted, I didn't have a lot of anime at the time. I was still fairly new to anime, but still, it was definitely in my top 5. And if I was to watch it today, it wouldn't have changed because everything from then on, it just went uphill. So what do you guys think? What moment hooked you? Was it this moment, or was it something else further down the series or beforehand? I'm sensing a lot of people are going to mention Baratie and Sanji's backstory, and I'm not mad. That's another great moment. Like I said, there's definitely things beforehand that I was hooked with, but this solidified it for me. Like and sub if you enjoyed the video, guys. I would appreciate it. More videos on the way soon. That's all I can say. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.